Yep, well. Okay, guys. SOP changes that we've been talking about it for the last few days. They're officially here. I'll be posting the new SOPs in the orientation in a minute, or in a few minutes when I'm done with this. I'll also write out detailed changes here. I believe the commissioner is going to be on his way. He might get here in time, might not. I don't know. But I'll start going over them. Okay, so we've been mentioning a few of the changes at the ball yesterday, some before that. NCOs and command, you guys know, because we had a meeting about it like a week ago. But now we've got the they're officially changing as of right now after the shift change, okay? So what that's going to mean is pay attention. And if you don't pay attention and you give the excuse of, oh, I was working off the old SOPs, that's not going to matter. That's some bullshit. All right, so you're going to be expected to know them. I'm just about to start.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. First things first. We've changed the mission to be more upfront and able to talk about a little bit more in terms of when we're doing academies, etc. The big highlights out of this is that we want it to be clear that we want cops to be cops. We want cops to go through, law enforcement officers to go through and uphold the law with authority and presence. We want your presence to be felt. Okay? That's important. Because for a long time, a lot of you, I don't know where this came from, because I've never shied away from this, but I've always wanted law enforcement here to have presence through the authenticity of being a law enforcement officer. I want us to create a sense of fear in professionalism and people knowing that we know our shit, okay? And that they should be scared that we know our shit. What that means, however, is that we're not petty about it, meaning that we're not being a pretentious son of a bitch with a stick up our ass, which a lot of cops take this sentence to mean, and that'll be chewed out from here. I can tell you that. We're on a mission to do that. You'll be expected to respect the lines in terms of when to punish people, right? We want to punish the person doing the crime. We don't want to ruin their life. On top of that, we want to make sure that we're prioritizing interactions over just getting the arrest and making sure that we're doing things that make sense out on the streets. One thing I harped on a lot at the beginning of the reiteration of this police force was the fact that I didn't want people down on the cells just farming reactions from people. Hoping that you're going to be able to subpoena that from your body camera and be able to make cool TikToks from it. We're not about the influencer generation officers. You see them doing push-ups and shit on their squad cars. We're not about that here. We got Lane. And God knows he's a fucking dinosaur, and that's who we're emulating. Pretty much what this all goes back to is about good sportsmanship between the criminals and us, which oftentimes gets lost in the dirt. So you can read that, you can understand it. We expect you to act with integrity. We expect you to read the room, as always, and we will challenge you, your superiors. When you fuck up, you will know about it. And that's part of being in a police force, ladies and gentlemen. None of this soft, this baby shit, goo goo gaga shit. Okay? If you do something wrong, you're going to be told about it. You got it? And you got to be okay with that, because that's part of being a cop. Okay. We've changed the oath up a little bit here. Trimmed everything down about how, on my honor, and I'd like for everyone to retake this oath, actually, because it's new. It's different. On my honor, I swear to serve with integrity. Repeat after me. On my honor, I swear to serve with integrity. And uphold the law without bias or compromise. I will carry this badge.
And uphold.
Go ahead.
And uphold the law without bias or compromise.
See, I'm thinking that y'all are reading what's here, right? And you have a copy of it, so I assume you're just going to read along with me. I will carry this badge with courage. And others accountable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you don't arrest anyone. Okay. Now, going next. I have made everything. The glow on this machine's gonna
This
make it
is the
hard to
commissioner of
read.
the police and Leanne's
Easier to read in the other room,
brother.
actually. But I have broken everything up into the Bible, which is everything that
So
you need
cursed.
to know on the highest level that is broken down into tiny tidbits so you can quickly reference. This is something our old SOPs was missing severely in terms of the fact that, well, the other SOPs were like a goddamn university textbook, and we've sought to try to trim everything down where we can for people. And this is where it's going to be your cheat sheet, essentially. This should match what's in the context of our documents. If you see inconsistencies, please point them out. But the Bible will always be the source of truth, meaning if it's written here and written different somewhere else, this is the source of truth. Any questions?
No, sir.
It's not this bright when you actually look at it.
No, it's not. This is just
You can actually read it.
I don't want this table of contents. Okay. This legal focus, this got broken down very heavily from where it was at the beginning. Need to know when, why, and how to frisk another person, search another person, charge another person. This is common sense, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't do this, you shouldn't be a police officer. You should know why you're doing something. You should know when you're going to do it, and you should know how you're going to do it. If you don't know those base level things, you should be in a yellow vest, or your ass should be out on the side of the road. You got it? This is the simplest part of law enforcement, is knowing when, why, and how. Because if you can't tell someone any of these things when you're trying to take away their liberties, you're going to have problems. It's not up for debate. Any questions?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Okay, good. I was hope there shouldn't be questions for that. All right, we have updated all the uniforms. We have all of them here now. State police, the sheriffs, and the park rangers to showcase that we're a multi-department law enforcement body. Nothing has changed here on the clock in. This will get simplified at some point. I just couldn't be asked with it. We have added in the commissioner, deputy commissioner, and the different tiers that are available throughout the law enforcement ecosystem of Los Santos here. So it's very clear where the hierarchy is. And we've spelled it out even further here on the explanations and expectations of ranks. Some things have been added, including the commissioner, deputy commissioner, and colonel. These are the ultimate authorities on LEOs, PD SOPs, all of the departments, and LEO employment status. Meaning we are the final say on all of these matters. If we say something on one of these categories, it goes beyond what your chief, sheriff, or whoever else says it. The chief of the LSPD and sheriff of the BCSO, they are, this is old, and no one noticed this on the edit. Okay, I will fix this later. The chief and the sheriff are the ultimate authorities on those departments outside of the commissioner's office, and they guide and set the tone for those departments. The assistant chiefs and deputy chiefs and chief deputy, all of those people in those different departments, they support department leadership and help guide overall operations. The things I want to point out that a lot of people don't know: the commander rank is meant to oversee certifications and the FDO program, and they're supposed to be the supervisor of the rest of the command staff, not the assistant chief, the deputy chief, chief deputy, or the sheriff. None of those is meant to be the commander that does that. They should be the supervisor body for the command staff. Captains should be leading a shift, one of EU, AU, and NA. That has not been happening. I want that to be clear to everyone. Captains are shift leads. Do we understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We'll make it more clear who those are and what shifts they lead for which departments going forward. Lieutenants are supposed to run internal programs, individual FDO certifications, that type of thing. That's supposed to be their function and duty. The sergeant is the first line of contact. They handle discipline and oversight for the enlisted. And then corporals are meant to be the entry-level NCOs and field leaders. They're the first step in the chain of command. Corporals are the people you go to first. Not me, not Knox, not Leanne Cassidy, not Mikey Fu. You go to your corporals, and then they will take the escalation path. Obviously, we're here to be accessible to you, but corporals are meant to be the first line. Senior officers are meant to be experienced law enforcement officers with deep knowledge of procedure and consistent execution. I goddamn well know the majority of senior officers here are not experienced LEOs with deep knowledge of procedure and consistent
Warden's
execution.
the boss of the park rangers.
That will change. I will make sure that it changes. The command staff with me will make sure that that changes. It is no longer a Nepo baby appointment that you get just because you
Thank
have to know your
God.
shit. And I think that's a base level requirement, and I don't think that should be controversial. Officers are full duty, and this is what used to be the burden for senior officer, is full duty law enforcement officers that are expected to know and follow, repeat after me, because most of you here are at least an officer, know and follow all SOPs precisely.
All SOPs precisely.
Follow all SOPs.
Again, I want to see it in a sweet harmony.
No.
Follow all SOPs precisely.
Precisely.
That's it. Good job. Probationaries are just new officers that completed training and they're trusted to operate solo in the field. Probationary officers are officers, ladies and gentlemen. They are just officers in training, meaning the expectation is, while they will need correction, that they should know and follow our SOPs precisely. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And we know what a cadet is, a boot. Now, promotions and discipline. I shortened this completely to showcase what it actually means, because all of these columns were put in to make people feel better, to feel like they had a criteria, and was all bullshit. The reality is that what we look for is consistent performance, initiative, and professionalism. Just like you get a promotion anywhere in any part of life, not based on a checklist. There is, we're looking for people who lead by example, people who close cases instead of just leaving them forever. If you have 50 open cases that you've never done anything with or closed, well, I'm not promoting you, honestly, because you probably should look at that. We want you to follow SOPs and want you to improve the department. That means not going around bitching, complaining, moaning, having little knitting parties down in the motor pool, complaining about Knox, complaining that Minnow's got a scuffed ass hairline. I mean, all of those things will not get you to move up in this department. We want to see team players, people who are looking to improve things, that are trying to improve things constructively. I'm defending you.
Oh, sorry, sir.
NCO and command ranks come with a lot of responsibilities, a lot of homework, as well as the duties that you have on shift. And if you want to rise to one of these ranks, you better damn well do it. There's no more Nepo baby appointments in terms of these ranks. We need people who are going to get shit done. On disciplinary action, there's been a lot of inconsistency. So right now, there are shots. Shots are administered through your police profile on the MDT. Any NCO can give you a shot. A shot will even come if you're getting warned about something. It's to make sure that we have documented proof and documented notations of you being addressed for something. This can be a warning, can be just a coaching or anything, but shots can be strikes, monetary penalties, and if you accumulate strike points, which you can, 3 strike points equals a 24-hour suspension with command review for further punishment, so that we have it automated, so there's no more inconsistency that when you finally reach your 3 shots, take a fucking break. It's only a day. You won't die. It will be okay. Each point expires 30 days from the issuance. Now, leave of absence, they're said to be done through the MDT. Something may change with this. I have to talk further with command staff. However, for right now, if you are going to be gone for over 5 days or over 2 days if you're a cadet or probie, we expect you to submit an LOA. And just because you file an LOA after you've been away for 8 days doesn't mean we're not going to fire you. If you have not filed an LOA in the timeline we have put here, we can still dismiss you. You can't save yourself by just putting a late LOA in. Of course, we'll make exceptions for serious and legitimate issues. Loadout and equipment. This shit was busted. Did you know that all you need to do was have a pistol, taser, handcuffs, and I don't remember the last one, a radio. You didn't need body armor. You didn't need armor plates. You didn't need a trauma kit to administer medical in the field. You didn't need a spike strip, which should be the base level requirement for any police officer. A camera that every officer have to document a scene. The amount of officers I see go to scenes say, "Oh, who's got a camera? I don't have one." You're out on duty. You just can't make the paperwork bitch of the shift do all your paperwork for you. Just can't make Leanne or Kadumchuk or Pike do your paperwork for you. And we all know that's what happens. And a lot of times those 3 are. Ricky Rose is another one. People just try to use people as their paperwork bitches.
Little does he know that I stopped being a paperwork bitch a long time ago.
Get your lazy ass. You get a fucking camera.
I delegate that shit now, bitch.
Pictures of your fucking crime scene. If you want to go and run to a shootout, you're also running to the paperwork that comes with it. No more of one people carrying the full fucking load. That's over with. Everyone has a camera on shift, 5 IFACs, 10 armor plates, 1 ticket book, meaning that you can perform your job functions to a high level, to the level in which you're expected to perform it. This is the minimum and the maximum, meaning that if you come with a bunch of body armors in your trunk and armor plates and you're getting hit up like a loop pinata for the gangs around here, you're making it worse for the rest of us. They think they can come and pick us dry. Not anymore. We have people in the field bringing more.
I usually just made Dante do my paperwork.
Well, your ass is mine, or Lane's, or Knox's. We're coming for that ass. Next up, you must store all PD gear when going off duty, including duty pistols. Repeat after me. I will store all my PD gear when going off duty, including my duty pistol.
I will store all my PD equipment when I go off duty, including my pistol.
We will not let Rami El Rahman, we will not let Mr. K, we will not let any of these criminals any longer rob you when you're off duty and get a fucking PD pistol. Do you understand me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Firm.
Now, repeat after me. My lazy candy ass will take a camera on shift and do paperwork.
My lazy candy ass will take a camera on shift and do paperwork.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
You didn't need to. You didn't need to repeat that, but I'm just saying, amen. God bless. Amen. That need to be said. All the special equipment, instead of having 3 dedicated slides to all of them, we have it all listed down here, so everyone understands. These are limited to 1. They will be in a lockbox, meaning in your glove box. If you don't have a lockbox in a particular car, I will get you lock boxes. They are coming. Spock boxes. Only deploy them during an active scene. You carry only 1. The Spock strip or the box. It must be inside. Okay? This is not meant to be a easy, I'm going to put this on the Arcadia skip so I can get some motherfucker and that cheeky son of a bitch goes there. That's not what it's for. It's for tactical operations. Not your ability to make, I don't even know what you're trying to do with this shit, honestly. For your meme. GPS tracker and gun. On aircrafts and boats, those are approved all the time. For CID use and other uses there, consult the CID SOPs, which will be updated. Command approval for any other uses. Now, there's a big change here. What is it?
No longer for A-class vehicles.
A-class vehicles.
Yes, because it was stupid. And you're getting shot instead of and getting ran over and blasted off of cars. Come on, guys. It got pretty brain dead, and no one in the room said, hey, this is kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid.
I said that.
Find a use, be able to use them again.
I said that. I said it was stupid.
What's the point of him? That seems awfully useless. Well, let me tell you something. Of course it's useful. What does an aircraft do?
It flies.
It flies away.
It flies. What does a GPS gun do?
It tracks.
Well, what does it do before that?
It shoots.
It also flies.
Yeah, they were putting it on A-class vehicles. I'm like, why are we doing this? This is not. Is this in the SOPs? And then it's not.
If you're
there's no
in a
reason to
naval
speak up.
pursuit, what does a GPS gun do?
No reason to be a pick me. You know what I mean?
It flies.
But just between me and you, chat.
Who said it
I
swims?
said that shit. I said it was stupid to be putting that shit on A-classes.
I wonder if you shoot underwater, does it?
What else can you use GPS gun for? If you see someone's car parked somewhere and you have a little bit of distance and you don't want to go up and try to sneak it under the bumper, you can tactically apply it. Right? There's a lot of uses for that gun. It's just for some reason, no one decided to use it in the correct or in the strategic ways. They just tried to do it in the, I'm going to shoot this at the fucking glass like it's Fast and Furious as I got mowed down at 125 miles per hour as my car gets T-boned in a narrow.
I said it months ago. I think, what was it? It was like someone's putting it on an A-class, and I said, why are we putting this on an A-class?
But I have been on duty for a number of days, and every one of those days, someone got shot for shooting a tracker gun. And I'm just over it. Rifles, those are dictated. Corporal plus or with command approval. Only used to match force with class 2s or 3s. I don't want this shit getting out of hand. In the glove box, as stated. Understood.
Hey, firm.
Next page is service vehicles. I made sure this is much more documented and easy for all of you. In fact, this is now going to be a task for you, Gibson. Congratulations. I want the interceptor certification divided into two. Number one being for A-class interceptors, which is a day-to-day driver for people who have an interceptor cert, so they don't just have to be going around in a two-door sports vehicle that's an S-class all day long. That there's a tangible benefit to getting your interceptor certification outside of just for S-class chases. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Right here, Patrol A class. We got Alamos, Caracara, Sandstorm, Sandstorms DT205s, Dorado, Scout, regular Stainer. All those are great. Doing good. Some of you are going to get pissed. You're going to get tilted. Buffalo ST is listed in Interceptor Class 1. That's because it performs like an interceptor in the A-class variety. Meaning an upper A-class is what these cars perform like. The Stainer G3, the Buffalo ST, the Hellenbach, the STR, Shinobi, and the Maverick obviously have additional certifications, but these are your Interceptor A-classes right here. And these can be unlocked by
lock boxes are coming back.
Training. And I think this is smart, and this is the way it should work, is that there should be options that perform a little bit better than normal fleet for A-class cars, so people can have daily drivers that do the Interceptor cert as a sense of pride, so they can go out and they say, I'm driving my Stainer G3, I'm driving my Buffalo ST, I'm driving my Hellenbach, you know?
No, crims cannot break
These things are things that you can show off to say that you are an interceptor. You pass the ability to be a skilled driver in our force.
As far as I know.
Other things you'll see here, it's now a requirement to repair and refuel your vehicles. Keep your vehicle clean, roadworthy, and fully repaired while in service. Meaning if you're going around with 4 doors off and going to another chase, Lane is going to come for your ass. Knox is going to come for your ass. The full NCO Corps and command staff is going to come for your ass on that. It's looking stupid. It's looking dumb. You must lock your car when leaving it at all times. Unmarked cars not allowed outside of CID guidelines, and car customizations. Only minor, tasteful customizations allowed. Someone record this for Bust Insider. Do not change the paint color. Liveries must remain visible. They are uniformed for a reason. Understood?
Hey, firm.
Hey, firm. Yes, sir.
This is a big one. This is the violent call policy. This is for almost every violent call that you go to, that you will reply to. This is for 13As, gang shootouts, tactical encounters, clustered shooting calls. They all activate this policy. The highest ranked unit, they're to call for a rally point, 3 to 4 blocks from the scenario to assess the situation. This is to prevent us from rolling in one by one, getting shot. It's also to prevent us from one by one rolling in, going over numbers. This is to prevent us from one by one going in without a plan. 8 officers, unless it's for gang shootouts, for raids, or for 13As, which we'll get to in a second. Do not use this number for 13As yet. You hear me? What won't we do? We will not use this number for what?
13 A's.
13 A's.
Good.
13 A's.
Good. Good little officers. Good officers. Okay. 8 officers should be called to the rally point, meaning that everyone should get there. They should stop. They should talk. As officers arrive, the highest ranked unit should recon and assess the situation, meaning that they are getting us aside. They're sizing it up. They're seeing what's going on. Is this a gang shootout? What is this? They're using critical thinking skills instead of just blurting dumb shit over the radio. Officers should be counted by the highest ranked unit to ensure that limits are enforced, meaning that they're responsible for the officers to go into that scene. The highest ranked unit should ensure that he has come up with this. They have come up with a strategic plan and that is briefed to all the officers. Every officer should know what they're going to do. They should all have assignments. There should be nothing left unturned. And then officers should attempt to de-escalate the shooters when they roll up. If warnings are ignored or shots are fired at officers, officers may use lethal force when their efforts fail or officer lives are in immediate danger. Now, what this does not mean is that you go up to a scene and you say, "Stop shooting, stop shooting, stop shooting, stop shooting, stop shooting." That is not giving a warning. That is, you didn't take your meds. What you need to do is you need to go up to a scenario and you need to try to start a dialogue with the individuals to get them to stop shooting. There needs to be conversation, the ability for us to talk to people instead of just shouting at them. Of course, sometimes it can degrade to this.
Not Rand clocking
those
it.
people have been abrasive or ignored our warnings, but that is spelled out with if warnings are ignored. Try multiple times. Looting suspects. You have to verbally warn a suspect that's looting. If they're armed, you can warn that they may be met with lethal force because they're just haphazardly holding a gun. You're allowed to warn them. If they are unarmed, that they will be tackled or tased. Got it? And after 2 ignored warnings, and that doesn't mean stop looting, stop looting, stop looting, like that. That is not 2 warnings. It means you're properly verbalizing, using your thinking skills, being a human instead of a drone. Then you can escalate with appropriate force outlined before. Removing medicals. You need to identify the affiliation of those removing the downed person. If they're not allied, you've determined that, you can warn that they may be shot if they take the body. People will not understand this. You need to explain it to them. Or they're going to come back hitting you after you shoot their ass down. They need to understand. You need to state clearly that removal poses risk of further harm to the person they're removing. So that they understand that in their big dum-dum brain, that they can process it. Okay? They need to be able to process that in their head for their decision making. Everyone knows they're not just going to get a medical and be able to toss on up. They got to carry that big ass body. Half these gangsters out on the street, they're fat as hell. They've been eating way too much McDonald's. It's going to take them a while. So you have time to do this. If they flee with the body, you may engage under good faith belief of continued threat to that person. That is completely within your rights. I want to be clear here. Good faith belief, which means that you know in your heart of hearts, deep down, is in your bowels when you take a shit at night or in the morning, depending if you're a morning or not shitter, that you know that they're going to do something to them. Now, one-sided aggressors. This is a common scenario. This means when one side doesn't stop or shoots at officers.
It's okay, Chris. I got clocked too because I just had McDonald's for dinner.
Fire on the opposing side. Tell them to get out of there. Once confirmed, we can open fire on the aggressors. If the non-aggressors continue shooting or don't get the fuck out of Dodge,
sometimes you just need a chicken nugget and a Sprite, you know?
Do you understand?
Confirm.
Yes, sir.
Do we have questions on this policy?
Negative.
This should slow shit down. It'll give you time to think. These artificial number limits of time we put before were not being adhered to and just making it weird. This will fill your time with doing things.
I've been sick all week. I deserve chicken nuggets and a Sprite. Okay.
That's my hope.
Shut the fuck up, Ravage.
1013As. I did a nice little flow chart to show you when an officer goes down, when you should 13A. It is not when there's an accident. It is not when it's SBS, fun, memeing, a good old laughing, hearty time. It's not when scene numbers are already at 10. You don't 13A. It's not when suspects have fled. That's a 13B. There's no immediate threat. 13A means there's immediate threat. 13As are called when it's a very serious violent incident or the suspects are a continued threat to you. There's not at any other time. Do we understand that?
Yes, sir.
Before calling a 13A, ask yourself, has the scene played out? If no, fuck off. Are you at numbers? If yes, 13B. Also, fuck off. Would the 13A negatively impact the scene? If so, fuck off. If the scene won't benefit from the 13A? If so, fuck off. Any questions on those?
No. No, sir.
Excellent. For 13A responses, we need to assess if the call is legitimate instead of just going in super hot. We need to follow the violent call policy. Then we need to match the number of additional officers to a total of 10 on scene. Then we prioritize the rescue of the officer over trying to clean the criminals up. This is an X bill when there's 13A. Understood.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Firm.
Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Now I know these are all my words because I wrote all of these this time. So this is my thoughts and what my expectation has always been written. Pursuit procedures. We made this very simple. Units. There's 4 units max per pursuit with 6 of the command approval. I did not change that. What I did change, however, is what constitutes a pursuit. If someone breaks off from a pursuit in a different car and it's now become 2 separate pursuits, they are to be treated as such under these guidelines, meaning that you can have up to 4 units chasing a singular pursuit. Once those pursuits reconvene, then you need to use your discretion to reassess and say, now is this one chasing in? Then let's fix it. Also, units can rotate out if the damage are on low fuel, as always. And if there's an interference vehicle, it's +1 up to 6. In the same scenario.
Yep, new SOPs.
And then I've also written out here, there's 1 air 1 and 1 pursuit vehicle or 2 moto per chase, not 2 motos.
The slides are fucked up. That's why I'm not
Any
facing
questions
the camera
there?
that way.
That's a negative.
No, sir.
Not one question yet. These must be really clear, or y'all ain't listening. Everyone.
Everybody
Okay.
pays attention at chip change.
I'm just confused about 1 pursuit vehicle. Do you mean the Interceptor Class 2 or
Where's that to? Who's saying that?
That's a good question.
White
DuPont.
Hair? Back here.
Out here. Okay.
Silver Fox.
What do you say?
He called himself a silver fox, sir.
Everyone calls me that. Sir.
Oh, I've never heard anybody
Okay,
call
no.
you that. Vaughn.
No,
Neither have I.
You fucking freak.
Wow.
Crazy.
Oh, look at him. He's on his
Gimp.
Jesus. Back to my question. For the pursuit vehicle, which class would fall under the pursuit vehicle in this case?
What?
You mean in terms of the pursuit vehicle, in terms of S-class pursuit?
So I think
That's
He's asking if the A-class interceptor, so
No.
like the Buffalo ST counts. Yeah, exactly. So no.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Pits and swaps. Hit only the rear quarter panel. This has always been the way it is. Don't pit over 75 miles per hour. Some of you don't follow this on a good fucking day. That's going to be enforced now. Let me tell you.
And don't pit if the car is backwards because it's not the rear panel. If it's in the front of the car.
That's the front panel. Pits authorized when there's a vehicle swap. 10+ minutes in a chase and command approval. Either of those circumstances. No pits from interceptors or trucks. No pitting stationary vehicles. Understood?
hey,
Oh, yeah,
sir.
bud.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
The chase starts. I've just reiterated what has always been our policy, which people aren't doing anymore. So I'm going to say it. West toes. If not, and it's off duty, you need to impound it after waiting for 5 minutes. If the vehicle is used in a crime, you need to clear it. Check for contraband. And you need to level 2 impound it. If it's not used in a crime,
Oh, the
level
pitting?
1.
It's for
Why do you
staying
don't
on
do
them,
this? You
TB.
need to
That's
do a
always
regular
been the
tow.
thing.
You need to do a tow.
You've never been
impound,
able to
please
pit an
impound.
interceptor.
Understood?
A lot of people are falling asleep.
Uh-oh.
Thanos
Yeah.
is ripping everybody away.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, bye,
Scorpions.
Well, I know they didn't.
No, there was a... AC really overpowered your voice there, Commissioner.
What did?
Air
I don't
conditioner?
know. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a good 30-second period where I was just quiet.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear nothing.
No one heard the
Oh,
toes.
there he goes.
or the
No.
blocks?
They didn't hear
What about
shit.
primaries?
Oh my Kenshi.
Everyone's disappearing.
Yeah, no, you got up to pits and swaps, and then this is how it should be called, and then nothing.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Primaries lead the pursuit. Secondaries, 4-car gap. They take comms. They don't follow down alleyways. Tertiary plus.
He's gonna play cop more
meaning
good.
Tertiary, quaternary, every other unit. They
I
run
missed him
parallel.
on Ollie.
Box and
It was always a
blocking.
good time.
This is the way it should be. People aren't doing this. Fuck off and do it
Look
right.
how empty the fucking room
blocks.
is right now.
Announce clearly location of blocks or spikes, including which lane. Do not spike stationary vehicles. Stay with spikes until they're removed. Blocking units, you stay the fuck still until the pursuit passes. You don't rolling pit one of our own units or the suspect. Only block when safe to do so, meaning that there is fair distance, that the people aren't seeing the lane you're putting the car into, that they're not going to hit you at Mach 150, knock your teeth out. Understood?
Yes, sir.
5 of us that are here, yes, sir.
There's only 5 people here?
Yes, sir. Look up.
How bad was that?
It was really bad.
Really bad.
Okay, let's go this again. All right, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of motherfuckers came into our department and thought they could do it fucking better, and they don't do it better. Repeat after me. I do not do it better than the original Prodigy Police Department.
I do not do it better than the original Prodigy Police Department.
Thank you. Now we've broken the wall for but a second. We're going to go back in. Primaries lead. They do code 3. Secondaries code 2. They don't follow down alleys. They take the comms. They have a nice gap between the first unit. Tertiary and quaternary. They run parallels. They look for blocks, spikes. They look for the ability to pick up where the primary
Just gonna put this
unit
fourth
may
wall back up
lose
here, guys.
that suspect, and they look for blocks and spikes to get in there and to disrupt the chase. Blocks and spikes aren't always about making the suspect crash into you or hit the spikes. It is about slowing them down and deterring them, eating up their gasoline, doing things that get into their head. They're looking for spikes. It hits them off their game. There is a psychological effect as well as a practical effect. It is very important that we do this thing properly. You can be a dog shit fucking hopeless fucking driver. You could drive like Daphne fucking Malone out on the police force. And let me tell you something, you can still be effective. You can still be scary. If
What's
you
Daphne catching strays?
Yes, Antoine.
Is there something with spike protocol, like certain miles an hour? I've been getting yelled at a lot from criminals that you guys are spiking me while I'm doing 120.
No.
Which my answer is, do you want me to wait?
How do you know? If you follow what's here, this is announced clearly the location of blocks or spikes, including which lane. You don't spike stationary vehicles. You stay with the spikes till they're removed. Blocking units stay still until the pursuit passes, and you only block or spike when it's safe to do so, meaning that if you have spikes laid down, who gives a shit? If people are yelling at you about that, you bring it to me, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. How the fuck do you know how fast they're going?
You'd rather them go get hit by spikes and hit the wall than hit someone else head on that's just minding their own business, moseying down Vespucci Boulevard, you know?
Yes, that's not.
Or going to a storefront.
Never be a thing. This has been the way it has been for over 3 years. Got it?
Yes, sir.
If anyone tells you different, they're just wrong, and they need to probably come talk to me or Knox. They got a problem with it, they can try to come change it. If not, people need to give them their pacifier. Okay. Vehicle processing. If there's a tow on duty, request a tow. PD are not doing this. You need to be requesting tows. You are the #1 problem in the city when it comes to disenfranchising tow drivers. It is you. You are the problem. Repeat it after me. I am the problem.
I
am the problem.
You are the fucking problem. You are destroying the careers of tow truck drivers all over the place because you're too damn lazy to tow cars when they're parked illegally. Get on your fucking
10-4, get up to shift
Tow
train.
truck
We're going
drivers
over SOP.
now eat garbage because of you guys. Is that what you guys want? You want them eating garbage?
No, Deputy Commissioner.
No,
Okay,
DC.
good.
That's right. You did this. This is your fault. You have put these people into poverty. And in fact of that, as a result, now the only tow truck driver we have, and we barely have him, is an anthropomorphic animal. A fucking turtle. We have a turtle. That's it. We literally, the only tow truck driver we have is a trained pet. And this is your fault. Repeat after me. I am the problem.
I am the problem.
Exactly. Now,
Who has
if
a
the,
trained pet? Has it added shots?
Oh,
probably not.
Only
You
reason
probably
we still
take
have
care of
him is
it.
because he eats garbage. Because he's a turtle.
Straws, man.
Everyone got quiet.
Got it. Now, if the tows are off duty, you impound it. You wait 5 minutes and you impound it because we don't want divine intervention of a UFO abduction in front of you of a car. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to explain that to the person they come back to get their car. And then they shoot you for it. Next up, if the car is used in a crime, clear it. Check it for contraband. Level 2, impound it. If it's not used in a crime, level 1. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We use police impounds. That's what we use. Next up, we got some nice favorite topics here. The non-standard pursuits. The tricky ones that people complain about. Rolling shootouts. You assess and you identify who's shooting. You make sure who's shooting. You don't like, that kind of looked like it came from over there. No. Tennessee versus Garner defines a good faith belief, meaning that you have to get yourself to a good faith frame of thinking before you assess or identify any shooters, because that can be met with lethal force. Then you attempt to warn them. If you continue shooting, you will be met with lethal force. Then you engage them. If they cease to stop, or if they pose a threat, they shoot at you, they use threatening language, etc., then you can engage them if it's safe to do so. Exit your vehicle before shooting if the suspect goes on foot. Don't keep using your car as a Hermes going down the road, shooting everyone if they go out on foot. If you're fired on from a vehicle, you may return fire from a vehicle. Any questions?
Negative.
Airborne vehicles. If you suspect an unauthorized air travel, radio the ATC on channel 20. If ATC 911s or 311s, it is the expectation that you will check radio ATC on channel 20. You will talk to them. You will communicate. You will find out what they need, or if they need investigation. Use Air 1 to communicate warnings that the craft could be shot down to the aircraft if ATC is not hailed. Okay? ATC, that means if they don't talk to ATC, it's your job to go out and talk to them if ATC doesn't have an available pilot to go out and deal with it. Either way, you should probably go deal with it with ATC anyway. ATC and PD should coordinate for the vehicle to be shot down if warnings have not been taken, and they must impound the helicopter and get the ID of the helicopter for ATC, or the ID of the individual for ATC to remove the flight license.
Yeah, he's trying to get people to
Understood?
work for ATC.
Air traffic control is going to be very strict. So if people are using air traffic for illegal reasons, the punishments are very, very hard. And they're meant to be that way. And everyone is on the same page. And they'll be told that when we get their license. They'll be told that when they buy a helicopter. You got it?
Wait, so they're going to be on air traffic control as well, the people that are in the helicopter?
Yes. They can be hailed by ATC. Any helicopter that enters airspace can be hailed by ATC. Of course, there are dead zones. But anyone that's taking off the right way will be on radio with ATC. ATC will be able to hail them and identify them.
Can I ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
So, say if we see something suspicious, like a helicopter landed at LSMC parking lot, and then it takes off, we should hail ATC and see what's up with that helicopter?
Yep.
I have another question as well, sir.
Go ahead.
For Air 1 to contact the... is there... Do we go on the same... on Radio 20 as well, and will the other aircraft hear us?
Of course. Yes, of
All
course.
right,
It's the same thing. Your radio works, doesn't it?
No, Ephraim, I was just wondering...
It goes to radio channel 20.
Enemy, like, let's say there's an... I don't want to say enemy helicopter, but like an unidentified heli. We're assuming every pilot will have to go onto Radio 20.
Son, it is spelled out and written for you that you go to radio ATC.
And I just asked
channel
that.
20.
No, I understand, but sometimes ATC aren't available. That's where I'm getting...
They'll be on Radio 20.
They will be available. They're not available now. They will be. This is for when they are available.
And the pilot of the heli is going to be on Radio 20.
Okay. Going to boat chases. Any other questions on that?
No, sir.
Okay. All that shit's spelled out. It's written. Boat chases. In the water, you pull out a boat. You come on the radio that you're doing it. If the suspect jumps in the water, after warnings, you may open hand strike them. And if they're armed with a knife, you can follow use of force protocols appropriately. Pretty simple. Air 1. Limit of 1 helicopter per pursuit. Limit of 2 helicopters in the air at one time. No exceptions unless with command approval. Helicopters must not high hover to act as a satellite. Helicopters must have a co-pilot who does comms. And you must communicate to ATC when launching and landing. Any questions?
No, sir.
Transborder. Cayo Perico. We can only enforce the law in San Andreas. We cannot make arrests in Cayo Perico, and Cayo's waters start at the naturally occurring storms. Self-explanatory. I don't need to go into depth on that. I shouldn't have to. Lawyer and PD standards.
If you're falling asleep, wake up for this one. This is important.
Yes, wake the fuck up.
One question. Do we follow hot pursuit standards if they go to KO?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No.
No, we just let them go.
Yes. Okay. I am not negotiating for you to be returned from a Banana Republic dictator who's telling me he's going to chop off your hands and stuff him up the Smurf's ass in the corner because you two decided to follow an ear one in a hot pursuit. Use your head, son.
Understood.
Why'd I get the drive-by?
Lawyer and PD standards. You were to offer a lawyer as soon as possible to the suspect. As soon as you got a suspect, it should be as soon as possible you try to get them a lawyer. You should be able to articulate verbally the burdens of proof for any charges listed.
Yeah, we're going over new
You should
SOP.
act in good faith with negotiations with lawyers, not bad faith. If they get you on something legitimate, work with them. It's not a ego contest. It's literally just a debate. Their job is try to get their clients off, and it's your job to charge someone for the correct charges. It's not
all
for
SOP.
your fucking ego. Offer fair time and fine reductions in negotiations with lawyers up to 25%. For lawyers, they are to act professionally, utilizing proper manners, and not cursing, insulting officers in the cells. Respect police officers' time and boundaries, as well as suspects in custody, meaning that these lawyers that come in and they just waste 2 hours and making everyone pissed off, that is against our expectations. Lawyers must not speak with any suspects they were not called to represent. And if lawyers present themselves, and did everyone process that one? Lawyers must not speak with any suspects they were not called to represent. That is the cell area is a private detention area. Okay?
10-4.
They don't get that liberty. If lawyers present themselves as a risk to PD operations, temporary detention is allowed. And what that means is if they are obviously trying to leak information and we've caught them doing it, or they are in a risk that's articulatable, we can detain them within the area of our police department. We're not to put them in the cell. We're not to put them in handcuffs. We're not to do any of those things. But they are detained simply for the fact that we are not letting them leave. Any questions?
Can we send that first point to Douglas Fielding?
Yeah. I already told Douglas to fuck off. Any officers can expel a lawyer if they've deemed themselves a violation of the expectations set forth in our SOPs. I think I was drunk and tired when I wrote this line. I need to go back and grammar check it. If a judge or bar associate rep is available, you need to attempt to utilize them to mediate the situation. Okay? Try that first. Removing them does not constitute a violation of their client rights. Their client can still plead not guilty. Okay? Their rights aren't violated because they got kicked out of the cell area. We aren't removing their client's right to an attorney. We are removing the attorney from violating the detention area guidelines. I mean, they can still go to court. They can still do all those other things. If there is a probable cause hearing, they can do that. What they can't do is operate in our cell area anymore because they are violating the rules of that area, which we control. Officers must make every effort to find a new counsel for the suspect if they expel their counsel. An officer should ensure that lawyers' conduct was extreme and they made every attempt to warn, de-escalate, and work with the lawyer before they expulse them. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Hey, fam.
Yes, sir.
Detention of lawyers who are a risk must be temporary and the operation must be expedited. If a cell phone is seized, it must only to prevent an information leak. It cannot be searched. You got that?
Hey, fam.
You guys know what that means? It means if you take their phone because you think they leaked it, it doesn't mean you can go through their phone to see if they leaked it.
Yeah.
Just hold it.
Yeah. Prison transports. Anything that requires a prison transport is now a total of 500 plus month for one suspect or 300 plus months each for 3 plus suspects before reductions. There must be 18 plus officers on duty. Before it was 8 plus, and that was ridiculous.
Thank God.
Because we have a max of 12 officers on a prison transport, and having a minimum of 8 is crazy. Prison transports are meant to be hard. They're not meant to be easy for people to be able to come and assault. So you need to organize your officers. Scene lean designates the radio frequency and the route from MRPD to Bolingbrook. Once you're organized, begin the transport. The transport must remain at 55 miles per hour. Repeat after me. Prison transports go at 55 miles per hour.
Prison transports go at 55 miles per hour.
Eugene does not bring the prison transport 150 miles per hour to prison after everyone gets shot down. Repeat that after me. Eugene does not bring the prison transport 150 miles per hour when everyone is shot down.
When everyone's shot down.
Thank you.
49 acceptable, though.
If you are attacked, you are to form a defensive position together instead of just going off in all different directions like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off, which keeps happening. Get a defensive position. Protect the bus in a safe area. Do not rush the prison or enter the prison when you're attacked. Once it is safe, process your suspects inside the prison. It is not safe if you're still being shot at. It is not safe if all the officers are shot down. You just can't run off and go to the prison like Rambo. You're going to get shot. You're going to get the prisoner shot. All of this is stupid. There is a surrender point. Know it. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is no one changing this? Am I doing all the work?
You were.
I don't know.
Yes,
Pike's
sir.
asleep back there.
I'm not seeing the slides that you're trying to put up.
On
Well, y'all have a copy of it, so I hope y'all are. Radio comms is going to get shortened up, but actually it is shortened up.
Yeah, shortened it up. and
Accuracy,
added
brevity,
some-
clarity. Basically what this means is stop talking over people, stop yelling fucking break. Did you guys not add? Oh yeah, here we go. Here are the big changes. If don't use break unless it's for a very, very serious matter. No more break. There's a hostage. Break there. Break. I broke a fingernail. Break. My ear one is slightly smoking, and I'm going to communicate that because it makes me feel better. None of that. Break has to be used for like 13As and highly relevant traffic. No more braking. Got it? Repeat after me. I will not yell break on the radio unless it's extremely fucking serious.
I will not yell break on the radio unless it's extremely fucking serious.
Important as hell.
Okay, repeat after me. If I yell break over Colt Cassidy and it is not meeting that criteria, he is going to come and put his foot so far up my ass that I will no longer have a badge and be yeeted all the way to the CG cubby so they can go and do whatever they want, including robbing or shooting you.
Ooh, it's a long one.
Yeah, ditto.
Alan's legally binding too.
Yeeted to the cubby.
What?
Got it.
Chang will shoot me.
I don't believe any of y'all.
Small talk is no longer tolerated during active situations, especially in prime time. It is not tolerated. Repeat after me. Small talk is not tolerated during active situations.
Small talk is not tolerated during active situations.
You're not funny. You're lame. You're cringe. Shut the fuck up. If you are huddled inside a police station, at least one officer must have a radio turned on. Meaning Ricky Rosa, Lincoln Carter, Leanne Cassidy. Who else is in here? Let me hear around the room.
Why am I getting called out? I get pulled into those conversations, and I tell them to leave. What the fuck? When am I catching strays?
Fake Canadian.
Damn it.
Is that Hunter? Hunter. Rain. Octavia. All y'all, if you are in a huddle in MRPD, one of y'all in that fucking huddle is designated the radio bitch. You got it?
Go ahead and sit down.
They are listening and responding to comms for all of you. Got it? No excuses. I will rain hell down on your sorry souls if this is why, if y'all don't do this. This has been a big fucking problem. No more of this fucking grab ass and MRPD with no one listening at all. It's got to stop. Got it?
Yes, sir.
I don't mind people talking. I don't mind people doing other things. What I do care about is when people are willfully ignoring other officers getting fucked out on the street. that is a problem. Or if you're needed for something and you're not responding, those are a problem. And those are making it very miserable for other people.
Yeah, we're getting fucked on the street.
We are getting fucked
because
on
of
the
you
street.
not being on the radio.
Oh yeah, no more.
Is that what you want?
The streets.
You want Antoine Johnson getting fucked on the street?
Okay.
We don't want that. Antoine gets fucked on the street all the time. There's nothing.
Mind your business. 10-3.
I fucking heard all about it. You didn't see the slide about fucking grab ass, did you, son?
I don't be grabbing this. They throw it in my hands. Now let's get to the next slide.
If you are in a PD car, you must have your radio on at least 20%. I mean, if you're out in service, radio is on. Do you understand?
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
If I'm in my PD car, my radio is on. I am responding to radio. Come on. Come on. Hear it.
If I'm on a PV car, my radio is on. I respond.
Sniper!
My radio is on.
Good boy, Nichols.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Radio and 10 codes. Knox shortened the shit out of this. As he should have. It was so much useless shit. We're going to skip it, but just take a look. This slide is going to be temporary because it's about to be joined with something else out of it. Notice a theme here. Everything is shorter. Remember how big ass this fucking slide was before?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what I have done is I've removed the dumb bullshit about what tertiary and secondary have to do and stay 10 million fucking miles from the front of a heist or a robbery. That is no longer the case. Fuck that policy, burn it, light it on fire, stomp on it, pick up the ashes, put them into a nice classy body rub, sell it on Amazon. I don't give a shit. It doesn't exist anymore. Scene lead is the first unit to arrive. They state everything about the individuals there, what's going on, etc. They assess. They state if any hostages are being held, initiate contact, begin negotiations. They have units block the road and stage, etc. They help organize the scene. They designate pursuit. No more of this taking people completely out of what's happening on the scene. That is bad for morale. It is bad for everything. For everyone else, just common sense shit. You assist in negotiations when you're asked to. You secure the hostage if requested. And you check the hostage to make sure they didn't get any illegal items planted on them, etc. And then you let them go. You get them to safety. Very simple. Okay? Very, very simple. Call priority. Have we changed this, Knox?
Yep, I changed. Okay, so it might not look too different from what you guys remember, but I changed 911 calls are higher priority. They were on the low side. They were actually towards the bottom of low. Warrants have been moved up, and some robberies have been moved up, and some have been moved down, such as store shoplifting and alarms, stuff like that. So warrants and 911s are the big ones that got moved up the priority list.
Business robberies.
Yep, that's a new one that wasn't on there somehow. So like the jewelry store and paydays and stuff like that.
Okay, good.
Oh, I thought that was like. What about
So,
robberies?
yeah.
Like al dentes or stuff like that.
Same
Those
thing.
should be the highest
Same priority. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, hold on. Where do you see paydays?
No. He was saying like, is al dentes considered a business robbery? And I said that would be like a payday would be considered that same priority.
Yeah, but obviously businesses that are manned by people we deal with every day take the highest priority. The thing I want you guys to understand is that this affects a tangible, real person that you talk to day in and day out that always takes priority over every single other thing. You got it?
Hey, firm.
You understand what I'm laying down?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Anything to be noting here? I don't think so.
Nope.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You've got street races. Which one's the higher priority on the street races? On the last one?
What?
Yeah, 2 street races.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, we're doubling down.
Yeah, there's 2 street races
Okay,
in her.
yeah, just remove one.
Yeah,
the
I'll
top
remove
priority one should be removed. And
Yeah, that is the one. that should be
I'm already
removed.
on it.
Okay, no, I was just trying to figure that out. Thank you guys.
This one will be a flow chart, as you can
And
see
also,
in
I
the
think
presenter's
911
comments. I just couldn't
911
figure it out.
reports should be at the very high of all that. It should be felony stops, property robberies, 911 pursuits. I think 911 should be above pursuits, and weapons at court should be higher. But yeah, other than that,
question.
Go ahead.
So for the 13 Bravos, since we're going to be obviously using that a lot more in a lot of different situations, would it be possible to move that up in the call priority list?
No, because we don't want you going to them.
Oh.
Because if they're a Bravo, then that means it's already like situated.
Sufficient.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that with you.
Well, not sufficient, but like if it's like, so for example, we're supposed to press our 13 Bravo if the suspects have already left, but we're still there laying on the ground. We're not necessarily sufficient.
Yeah, but somebody always goes to Bravos. Like it'll be just one officer, most likely, that goes to it,
only need, like,
or an
2
EMS or
officers to
something.
do that.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about moving up between like low to high, just more up on the low list, like maybe above traffic violations, but
Maybe, but you just don't want a bunch of officers going to them. That's kind of the big thing.
yeah, makes sense.
I've got the question.
Go for it.
So you said that...
Speak louder, please.
Speak up.
You said that the regular business owner that we talk to every day in terms of a robbery is more important than, you know, how you say a money loan, which is true. However, money loans normally have hostages, which their lives are important too. So in this situation, what are we to value here?
Could you hold on? Could you hit me with that again? Your goat yo.
He was saying if there's a hostage situation at like a jewelry store, is that a higher priority than an al dente's getting robbed?
No.
Could be a hostage at al dente's. Did you think about that?
Yeah, we
I
could
didn't think about
send one
that.
officer to grab the hostage at the jewelry store and send the rest of the officers to go to the al dente's robbery.
Yeah, that's right. The priority is the hostage, not the robbery. In that case,
firm.
you have an active, real threat. You know, multiple people versus one. You think about it that way. Threat assessment. Okay. Arrest and processing. We simplified the fuck out of this.
It'll be a flow chart.
Yeah.
Once I figure it out.
Yeah, he's trying to flow chart what he has there.
Yeah.
But yes, basically we want to take out all the double.
Like the note, this will be a flow chart.
Very fucking simple because people just don't get it because you go there and it's 3 fucking pages. For what reason? No one knows. To solve an internal argument we had among command, I suppose, at some point. Arrest and processing. The next page. This is one y'all need to pay the fuck attention on. This has been in place for a long time. If your perp plans to argue their fucking charges, do not bring them to Mission Row PD. You bring them to the courthouse if the courthouse is open. There's holding blocks there. You bring them there so that we can expedite getting them into a trial instead of just arguing pointlessly in fucking MRPD cells and taking up 3 hours out of the night. Let's expedite things and get them to a place of constructive argumentation.
Hi, Cosmo.
Okay?
Sorry,
This is
I didn't mean to
the
step on you.
process we agreed upon with the DOJ. Tell your perps immediately when you pick them up. Do they plan to argue their charges? Have an idea what you're going to charge them. A lot of you guys don't even think about that till you get to the cells. And that is wrong. Repeat after me. It is wrong to arrest someone if I don't know what I'm charging them for.
It is wrong.
It is wrong to arrest someone if I don't know what I'm charging them for.
Borderline illegal, might I add. I don't know if anyone wants to argue that fact, but I do believe that it is
habeas corpus.
We have a certain set of powers prescribed to us, and I do believe that it is illegal to confine someone against their will without being able to articulate what they did wrong and the charge in which they committed. Does anyone have conflicting information on that? Because I believe that is the case. I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure it actually is pretty fucking bad for you to do that. It's a very serious thing.
Just have a question about that.
On that.
Thank God. Look at L.
Go ahead.
A lot of people request for additionals, and sometimes I find myself arresting people I don't even know what I'm arresting them for. So if people could just say, hey, I need additionals on this coming out of, I don't know, robbery or whatever. Just like make sure you say what it's stemming off of when you request additionals so that we have
in your processing, you are responsible. And in the Bible, it says you are responsible for the person that you take. If you give them medical, you touch them, they're yours.
Finally.
Yeah, you're saying like sometimes he attaches late because somebody requests an
attaches
additional and he
late
ends up
'cause,
arresting someone immediately and doesn't know why he's arresting them.
Yeah, you don't arrest them. That's the point, is that you detain them, But if no one gives you an answer of what they're being arrested for, you actually don't arrest them. You clarify on the radio. You try to figure it out. You hold them to a reasonable point in time. I'm going to tell you something, though. You better damn well have called the scene lead. I'm telling you. You better have talked to people on the radio and tried to figure shit out before you release a suspect, because that will get you fired. But
understood.
So I have a question around this. Sorry. With this PC hearing, I thought it was just to establish if we had probable cause for the arrest, not to argue the charges. Or are we doing like a sort of small bench trial if they want to argue their charges?
Come again?
So the PC hearing is a probable cause for that allows us to, to establish if we had probable cause to arrest, right?
Yes.
Now, if the suspect wants to argue their charges, let's say we charge them because they've got, let's say they were in a robbery and they, I'm trying to think of an example. They want to argue multiple charges that we're probably going to place them with. Is a PC hearing does that encompass those charges, or is it just to establish if we had probable cause for an arrest?
It's established if you have probable cause for an arrest, which then actually also is a double-sided coin because you need PC to charge. So if you don't have PC, then the charge can't be. I don't know what you're asking here. Like this
He's
is
trying to figure out the difference
principle.
Between the PC hearings and a bench trial. Is what he's trying to.
There are no bench trials.
Yeah, I'm aware.
There is a bench trial.
No.
It's a bench trial.
No, he's asking if. Ask the question again.
So okay. So let's say we've arrested someone who's got like shit tons of marijuana on them, but the main reason we arrested them was because they were in a robbery. So we had PC to arrest them because they're in a robbery, but we want to charge them for the marijuana, and they want to argue the charges for the marijuana. Obviously, would they be able to argue those charges in that PC hearing, or is it just to establish that we had the probable cause to arrest them in the first place?
You would explain the entire situation to the justice, and they would determine whether or not it was a lawful arrest. And then you'd go and charge them from there.
Right, but they can't argue any of the other charges that we put on there.
Then you're not going charge by charge. You're just explaining why they were arrested.
Just explaining why they're arrested, yeah.
And they'll either tell you could or couldn't have arrested them.
Okay.
Yeah, but I also want to point out that generally, PC determines if you can charge someone anyway. So it's just not the question you're asking just doesn't make sense on that alone. You need to understand those two things are together. They're not apart. Okay. Yes, cadet.
They're not food or drink up. My stomach's real.
Boo, go run and get your goddamn fucking shit yourself. Does this look like goddamn fucking charity? Go on, run, go, run today, son, now.
I don't know
Go, get out of here.
Going where? Where am I going?
Oh my god.
Now. There's a bunch of other changes that have been done here. I'm not going to bother going over that are a little less important, I would think, right, Knox? I think we just shortened down a lot of things, made it more readable, legible. I think it's mostly textbook stuff. Hostage negotiations were very simple.
Where am I going?
Exigent circumstances. It's like all the way at the bottom.
Is that not done?
It's all the way at the bottom. No, it's done. It's 2 slides.
I'll see it.
I'll see exigent circumstances anyway.
That's a big one. Actually.
Fun fact.
Big ones.
That's Soko. That's my character Soko from Twitch RP.
Oh,
and this was like a really big.
Yeah. Someone didn't change them yet. I don't know how to change the colors. NCOs and commands, it's a good time to remind you guys that we want you guys using the shots for people violating SOPs. As soon as this goes live, which is right when you walk out the door, it starts.
Okay, exigent circumstances is a big one that I realized I needed to clarify. Exigent circumstances are the set of circumstances in which allow you to enter or search a home without a warrant if you believe someone's inside, is in danger, evidence is being destroyed, or you're actively chasing a fleeing suspect. But it goes a little further than that. This is one thing that's misunderstood by a lot of our officers, and I want to make sure that it's documented because it wasn't before. If there's imminent destruction of evidence, and you truly believe that there's evidence that's about to be destroyed in a place, you can enter a home without a warrant. You can search a vehicle or a person to stop that destruction of the evidence. You understand?
Yes, sir.
You don't need a warrant.
Yes, sir.
Person's in danger. If someone's life is at risk, including as a medical, you may enter a property to save their life. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Now, what none of this does... Hold on, I think there's some points missing here, Knox, that I had written.
It's the next slide.
Is it?
Yeah, the
Should all
PD
be
equipment
together.
and then also the it's a lot. I couldn't fit it.
Okay. For a warrant holder that's 200 months plus with a violent felony, I wanted to make sure that this was very well pointed out. 200 months plus a violent felony. You may check inside the property if the suspect owns the residence and you have a reason to believe they're inside. Okay? You may not check another person's premises unless you have belief that evidence is being destroyed or someone is in danger. Okay? Other person meaning someone else related to that individual. You may only search for the suspect and not furniture, not go into their storage, unless the plain view doctrine applies, which I'll get to. But you don't go in there to go through their shit. You go in to arrest someone. So if you go in, you see nothing, they're not there, you leave. You don't search shit. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Hot pursuits. If a suspect enters any presence and you're in a hot pursuit, meaning like you're coming from a crime, and you have the suspect in view, you can enter that premises, even if it's owned by another person. Okay? That's a very important piece. If, meaning you haven't lost view of them since the crime, or you have lost view for a very short amount of time. You may only search for the suspect and not furniture, again, unless it's in the plain view doctrine. Now, the plain view doctrine, what is it? The idea is that you see something illegal from a place that you are legally allowed to be, meaning like you're in the road, someone else opens their door and you see they have a weed grow. Or if you see Ramee run into Tinker's house and and in Tinker's house you see in their weed, right? Or if you go in to check for Ramee because you believe he's in his apartment and you see a weed grow or a meth operation, that gives you the ability to search for those things and those things only. Got it?
Yes, sir.
So basically, you see a meth op, you go into a place that you're legally allowed to be in, or someone about you, and you see a full meth operation. You can search the meth operations and any containers that would include anything that would basically support that crime. So it's about probable cause. Again, to search or seize anything that may be illegal without a warrant that you can see from a place you're legally allowed to be. This doesn't mean you go up to someone's windows, you look through their blinds, you're staking out to see if someone opens the door of a property to see if you can see in. All of those reasons are not legitimate, and they won't be seen legitimate by the court. So the big thing is here, if you're inviting someone into someone's home and you see something illegal, you're good, right? Or you see something through an open door, etc. All creates
Is that actually Newman?
New sets of circumstances. Pre-raid measures. This is important. There are times when there are circumstances which may not be enough for exigent circumstances, okay? But enough that you have good faith to believe that a judge will approve a warrant if you gave it to him, meaning that you have a high enough burden to get a warrant to be able to search a place, and that there's a risk of removal of evidence if you leave it while you're writing the warrant. In these circumstances, we allow the PD now to temporarily restrict access to a premises through lockdowns. Okay? You need to do that. That's a checkbox, by the way, Knox. Needs to be fixed. Can you articulate? You need to meet all of this criteria, by the way. Can you articulate why you need a warrant? Is there tangible proof the evidence is held in a location? Will you conduct the raid in the next hours, not days? Will the suspect make calls or attempt to move evidence themselves or arrange for its movement while in or out of custody?
Yeah,
Those are yes.
I was confused. I thought he didn't have the I'm in his name.
Premises. You can send an officer to go on lockdown the business or the house until a judge gives you a verdict. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
Stolen PD weapons. So we use a baseline of actual law from other states here that you can breach without a warrant if exigent circumstances apply. Even if the home isn't registered to the suspect, you can breach a property without a warrant if you have probable cause that the stolen PD weapons or equipment are inside. You believe there's a real risk they'll be used, moved, or destroyed imminently, and you act immediately based on that risk, not hours later. This applies even if the property isn't registered to the suspect if you have probable cause to believe the item or suspect is inside. I need to tell you that you need to be able to fucking articulate this. Do you understand me? This is not something you just do. You need to be able to fucking articulate this, and not in a mental gymnastics type of way. You need to be able to properly lay this out and understand it. I've laid out the reasonings and rationale, legal rationale for each of these points. But if you cannot explain it, you do not fucking do it. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Good little officers. That's all we've got. The big things I've outlined have changed. Most of the chase stuff is the same as it's always been. It's just being reiterated. The rotating out has always been a thing. It's just people do it all the time. It's always been a thing. The discretion of multiple chases converging is new. That's the thing to put out there. So that's the big thing, is the way we do pursuits, the way we approach violent situations with the violent call, the service vehicles, and I think the lawyers and the prison transport changes, how we interact with lawyers, the prison transport stuff, and the exigent circumstances stuff are the biggest thing for you guys to remember to take away from this. Any further questions?
Minor one.
Well,
I was waiting for permission to go. I saw on the PD equipment slide, I didn't see tourniquets or painkillers or extra ammo or anything like that. So are we not using that equipment anymore?
What the fuck does that mean, son? I had to be honest. What the fuck does that question even mean?
Well, I don't want to be
not using them anymore.
Did you just wait? Did you ask if you shouldn't carry ammo?
Well, I don't want to carry more than I should. So if we're not supposed to carry extra ammo and only have our weapon fully loaded,
I've outlined what the minimum requirement is for you and the maximums for those particular items.
minimum, Black.
Well, it's yeah. If you need extra ammo, use that's fine. Nobody's
I
gonna
didn't
jump.
outline ammo for a reason. Obviously, you can have ammo, you can have taser cartridges. No one say anything about that. Otherwise, I would have put it there.
I have a question.
Yep.
Slide 30, it's kind of been ignored or I didn't pay attention, but the part where it says
what 30s?
DNA.
Oh, the DNA. Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
We didn't go over that. DNA is changed. Okay, so yeah, if you guys notice a violent or a pattern of violent felonies, then you can request from the DOJ to get their DNA put on file. And it's outlined in there as 3 or more separate occasions in a span of 30 days. So if you see that they're frequently being arrested for violent felonies 3 or more times in a month, then you can request it from the DOJ. This is going to be a big one, because if you guys are collecting DNA from the old SOPs, like I said, if you guys violate these new SOPs right away, there's no grace period for it, especially if you're taking someone's DNA. You guys know what that's called when you take someone's DNA when you can't?
Assault?
Fourth Amendment violation?
Thank God, at least the assistant chief knows what that is.
Can we then have the last slide removed, because it still says DNA collection?
Yeah, I'll update it.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Also, this will include warrants. So if someone comes to warrant and has 3 separate violent felonies, fine, that applies. So if you see someone that has 3 of them and they're out on warrant, you can still request the DOJ. You don't have to wait for them to be arrested 3 times.
I have a
Tyrone
question.
Biggums has 16 warrants of violent felonies, then you can request DOJ to get his DNA.
Not anymore. We got him.
Yeah, he's probably already on file, but yeah.
It is, yeah.
Spirit of it.
Okay. That's all I got. If there's no other questions, go out, be free. And this is what.
I have a question.
Yep.
So as far as regarding the probable cause hearing, it says that if they break out, then they're suspended from doing it for 30 days. I've been told that this is also the case with prisoner transports, but it's not listed on the slide. So is that the case?
No, it's not a case. We've never put that in.
Transports have always been if you get broken out from a transport and you get a warrant. So say you're being transported for having 500 months and you get broken out and you get a warrant for escaping custody for those 500 months. You don't get another transport for something you've already been transported for.
Yes, and that's agreed to with the DOJ. The DOJ enforces that. That's not us.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, I already see Piper. I clocked her when she came in.
Now, I'd say about 95% of this I've floated to most big gang leaders in the city, and they agree with almost all of it. So we are looking good on this one. There shouldn't be too much surprise, at least from the leaders of these people. Obviously, educate people for things you think that's worth educating out in the field so they understand. But I think a lot of this stuff makes a lot of sense, honestly. Especially the rating stuff. Like, everyone agrees pretty much that rating, we don't rate enough. We don't go in people's places enough. We aren't hard enough on warrants.
Time to start kicking down doors.
Everyone agrees on that. That's pretty much universal at this point. Okay, you're dismissed. Go out on duty. Get the fuck out of here.
I need those that were on the OIS shooting to remain behind.
Well, which one?
The one that
Why?
Arcadius.
Why?
Not putting your statement in a timely manner is a violation of whatever the fuck it's called. You get a shot for it, and you'll die.
Is that crispy bacon?
You get a shot and you'll die.